Hi, I'm Pastor Ron Scadina from Santa Cruz Revival, and we have Ted Sipe here.
Yeah.
Ted, welcome. Thanks for coming to my home today.
Yeah.
It's nice to have you over. Ted actually came over today to help out with some gardening, and we're so blessed to have you. We're going to do an interview. Previously, we had Ted share his story about how he was in a motel in Ben Lomond when he was watching a reality church TV show, and he called me. And it was funny because he called at 11:20 at night on a Wednesday night, and the show doesn't air on a Wednesday night normally, and normally my phone's off. And I was sitting right there where you're sitting, Ted, and I was reading the Bible, and I started dozing off, and you called. And you said, hey, I'm watching the show and I need prayer, right?
Right.
And you had told me in the letter that you wrote that you actually had told God that if he's there, you won't kill yourself. Is that right?
Right.
And so I was there. I answered the phone. So God had arranged it because he loves you so much for me to be awake when you called.
Yeah.
Right? And for the show to even air that time. And then God set it up so somebody gave you the money, right, for a motel
Right.
to get off the street because you didn't have housing.
Right.
Correct? So prior to all that, what had you been doing, let's say, the month before, 30 days before? Give me like a quick Reader's Digest of 30 days of your life before you made that phone call to the TV show.
Basically, just living on the streets, surviving any way I could. You know, pretty much eating from like Churches United up there, or Valley churches, and you know, staying on people's couches or even in a tent, you know, down by the river, wherever I could, as long as, you know, I wasn't getting arrested by the cops or getting harassed by them, you know, and told to leave and stuff like this. And, you know, picking up whatever spare work I could, doing yard work or manual labor of some kind, you know, through other people I didn't know around town. But basically it all went to either my places to stay or eating or, you know, just general buying clothes and stuff like that to survive.
Well, tell me about your drug addiction. What had you been doing when you went to drugs?
I was doing a combination of alcohol as well as heroin for like 30 years, 3 grams a day, which I don't know if you're acquainted with that at all from being around other people, but it's a very expensive habit. And the fact of the heroin is, it totally takes everything away from you that you value at all in life, you know, and just sends your life spiraling downhill, you know, until there's virtually nothing left. I mean, like in my case, my family didn't even want me around. My close friends didn't want me. I got paranoid to the point where I didn't even want to be around any churches or any, you know, like go down into work and hang out with people or anything like that. Or even paranoid of walking downtown for fear what people would think or what, you know, what would happen. Because you're just living in that demonic, non-spiritual life.
Like a stronghold. There was a stronghold over your life.
Yeah, it rules your whole nature.
Well, did you, I guess, you know, on the phone when we talked and I invited you to come down on the street and then I'd read your letter and you said that you told God, you know, if he's real, he'll be there.
Right.
And I'm going to give my life to you and give it all up this time. I'm done with the drugs and alcohol. That's the covenant you made with God, right?
Exactly.
Because you were crying out to God for help. You mentioned to me also that after we got off the phone, that you actually went outside to try to shoot the bullet.
And it wouldn't go off.
And the gun wouldn't even work, right?
No. It's like the whole gun jammed.
And what did you do with the gun subsequently?
I took it down and gave it to Santa Cruz Police Department afterwards.
And what did they say when you gave it to them?
They asked me if I wanted it back, you know, after they disarmed it and all that. And I said, no, take it and destroy it. I have no more use of it.
And then what
You know,
you said something about God to him, right?
And I said, God will give me what I need in life from here on. And he said, well, what do you mean? And I said, hey, when God entered my body, I no longer needed the normal stuff that man does. I said, he'll provide for my needs. I know that beyond a shadow of a doubt. You know, and I said, I briefly mentioned me by first name, and I said, I met this Pastor Ron, and he assured me that, you know, whatever I ask of God, it'll be done. And I truly believe that. And I've had it proven since, you know, that in a number of ways that all my needs are met long before I ask.
Well, let's talk about that, because remember you came down that night on a Thursday, and I get to pray with you on the street at downtown Santa Cruz in front of Forever 21, right?
Right.
And then you said, then the next day I called you, and you said that somebody offered you a house, and he was a Christian on the way home that night, right?
Right.
Tell us about that. What happened in a nutshell?
Well, I come down to meet you on the street in front of Forever 21 on a Thursday, and it's probably about 5:30 when we parted.
Yeah, something like that.
But anyway, I helped out that day and helping to feed on the street and just watching the guys play chess and whatnot. And you and I prayed before we went home, and then helped load your vehicle, and I walked off and walked back down the metro. And just as I was ready to get on the bus, another gentleman drove up that I had worked for, and he offered me a job working for him that day. It was just, you know, doing some raking and that. Anyhow, he told me in exchange for that, he had a fifth wheel trailer that he was thinking of getting cleaned up and re-renting and stuff like that. And I said, man, I need a spot bad. He took me home that night with him, like I said, and I did the raking. And he turned around and he says, hey, if you want to fix it up, it's yours. And I looked at him and I said, wow, you know, why? You know, total disbelief. And yet, you know, I wanted to believe that it was going to be mine. You know, and I partially said, Lord, you know, if it's your will, let it be. If not, show me otherwise. You know, and the more I got to being around the trailer, and, you know, the more I was believing that it was going to be, the more I got to feeling it was home. You know, and I just, you know, it's hard to put it into words. You know, the amount of joy you have and the peace of mind once you put it all into God's hands.
Wow, that's so
Let
good.
Him provide all your needs. It's the best way I can put it.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. That's beautiful. Okay, can you wrap